Hello, the first video I'd like to share kind of the preparation and the overall the production design process as a preparation for creating the layout and the background. So the first thing usually when you start your the layout producing, you probably need to have some documents that I provide you. You should have the access to the Google Drive so that you can go to the documentary and you can see the project management. And then you can see there's a plus screen short list and a layout list. That is something that you probably will use a lot. And I also actually just duplicate and delete all other layout list to just make it clear one for the shortlist only. But I think at this stage you will use this like more combined one as the preparation for the creating the layout. And then of course we have the production schedule. Production schedule, we will talk about that in our virtual meeting later. But first of all, right, take a look on here, right? Just I quickly go through what you need to open when you start the project, when you start the layout. So you go to the scene, layout, and then you can see the one that you work on, and be very careful that these are the priority scenes that you should, all of us should work more on. It is the shot. These are the shots that share multiple shots. These are the layouts that share the multiple shots to use that. So when you work on one layout, make sure you know that this is the name of the layout that you may need to have that in your document. And then you see the shot number as well. But very quickly, right? You just need to make sure you understand the camera position, eye level for the most of the shot. Sometimes it's possible, right? Here, the least, there's something that maybe it doesn't work. Maybe in two shots in terms of the thumbnail, the eye level may not be consistent. So you may need to adjust yourself, explore yourself to see is there a possibility to have one layout to share both shots. If it doesn't work, just share to the group, immediately talk about that, okay, it doesn't work, we have to do the other layout for that to keep the updates, because at this stage everything is kind of rough. This is kind of my first pass to think about the layout, how many layouts and how many shots can use one layout. So this is the one that you need to open. And then we go to the Photoshop. Right. Previously, so when we work on one of the layout, if at this point you are not provided a very clear direction of the production design, it means that you also need to think more about the production design, the aspect of the space, right? Even you have some images as reference, that those are the production design. You still can think about, okay, is there any problems, right? Is there anything not consistent? Right? Is there anything you can do better? So like usually, I take this layout as the reference. So like my first step is I try to roughly create a layout. I haven't finished this one, but I just want to have the start of thinking the space. So I work on this and I put into some images, and then I put the reference, the color script by Claudia, to see any possibility to have the different tone and the design. So when I'm comfortable with the overall the layout, either you can keep developing the detailed version of the production design, or you immediately move on to the layout that you want to work on. The fact is, sometimes when you work on the production design, you really need to think about the screen design. You really need to think about if that works, for that exact shot. So like sometimes I would say the production design could be developed while you are working on the 2 or 3 layouts together, so they are all together. So like this is the production design, right? Sometimes quickly create a floor plan could be very helpful for you. So this is the second aspect. Do some quick recap. One is you have to use the shot list and the layout list as reference. You need to understand, is there any camera movement there? What is the basic storytelling point in that shot? You have to understand that before you start. And the second step is make sure you either have a clear instruction of the production design, either you quickly start the production design as the first as the preparation, and then you either work on the production design more, or either you work on the actual scene first. But before we jump into the method, the visual method, the lighting methods, the other preparation is the tool that I provide you. I have all the tools in our Google Drive. There's a tool folder. It includes most of the contents that I think very useful in terms of the production there. So you see many brushes there. But there's the most recent one, I think it's called like just Blushing Brush Group. That is basically the brush that I use the most. So let's take a look. If you import all the brushes in here, you should see all this one. So there's a mega pack, dry media brushes, and then there's one is called Blushing JZ. It's the one that I selected some of the brushes from the Blush Good Brush 7.0. The reason is I think there are many good brushes there. However, there are too many, so sometimes it's not easy to find. So I roughly find some useful there. So and then some others you can play with. And quickly go through that is some of the brushes that I use the most is the first one is the wet media brush. Under the wet media brush, there's this one, the first one. The Kaoh Ultimate like inking thick one. So that is the one that I usually use that to create a shape, right? The base color of any object, or the outline that I probably use that. But of course, for that one, you can feel free to use others. For example, there are some other here, like Megapack is I feel it's like a more combined version of everything, like developed by like Kaoh. So in the I think like classic or drawing books, you can find something very similar. But the reason I use that, because I need a very clear outline. Even I use my Cintiq pen, right? Even I use my Cintiq pen, you can see a very clear the shape, because I need this shape as the foundation. Every layers of lighting and coloring needs to based on that, so I need that shape. So I need to be very clear about that. Okay, that's the reason I use that. The other one is I use this one a lot, even though probably some of you cannot read Chinese, but you can just remember this first one. It's like soft light structural like pen, something like that. But I use that a lot for the lighting effect, right? So even I use without Cintiq pen, I just click, you can see a pretty nice, right, lighting effect. I click one more, it's like kind of glowing, stronger. So working with other blend mode, you can see the effect. So I use that as a tool for creating the light source. Just let you know that you may use some of the tools from the Bluescreen JZ, and there are some like effect like the cloud, the fog. This is pretty good for creating the atmospheric perspective. And then others, you feel free to explore that. So that is the brush. And before we start, let me quickly show you the way I work, right? I go to like the wet here. For example, I want to create a shape, right? I want to create a shape, and then I can use, I just quickly draw a shape, and I close that. And then I use the magic rank tool here, select, and then I fill with one color. Okay, that is the major the methods I work on, so that I can have one base color, and then I can add more lighting using clipping mask on the top. So, but the base color determined the silhouette. So that is very important, especially if we want to create something flat. The silhouette for each element is very vital in this process. So this shape is clear, but I don't know if you realize when I fill with that color, you see a little gap here, So like I would say next step I like to introduce, I quickly record one action to have one shortcut so that you can fill with the color, but without seeing this ugly gap. So I would say this is optional, right? You can use your brush to fix this ones. It is totally fine. But I'd like to introduce quickly here. If you feel okay, you are totally fine with without using the action, you can just stop watching the video at this point and jump to the next one. So in terms of to do that, what I did actually is I record one action. I think I call it expand one pixel and fill with color. So we can do that. So what I did is actually for example, I draw one shape, and then I magic rank tool, select the middle area, and then I go to select, and then there's modify, and then I expand one pixel, click OK, and then I Alt Delete, shortcut key, and then fill with the area but with expanded one pixel. So this is the action, but this is, I don't want to do it every time, right? I don't want to use brush to draw every time. So I like to record that. So I have this step, right? I just need a shortcut so that it will fill with color to the area that with the one pixel expanded. So I go to the action, I record, I created one more. I can say like a test, expand the fill, and then you can I use the F1 as the function key. You better set up here so that you don't need to yeah, let's just try this one. Maybe I'll do it this, I'll set the F1 first, and then later I will see how it works for this shortcut. And then I record, right? And then I go to the select, and then I go to the modify, expand, 1 pixel, and then Alt delete. And then I like also have the deselect recorded. If you're using Mac, Command D, deselect. So that is the whole thing. So I done it. And then you see here, because the reason I didn't, I could not have the F1 because I already have the F1 as the shortcut key for my current expand field. So for you, you should be able to just select the F1, but technically you can apply any shortcut for that. So the outcome will be next time, right? You draw a shape, one color, you W like magic rank tool, and then you click the F1, and then done, right? It's just one color. So just like one of the more efficient way for you to work on. So that is the preparation